If there is God, why is there evil? That's actually an often asked question.
There's a question that atheists ask really often.
Yeah.
This question is so common that they constantly talk about it in forums, on social media, in videos. Perhaps this is one of the most important pillars of disbelief. On the other hand, it can also confuse Muslims. Here's the question. The diseases, evils, and calamities that happen to us, why does God allow these bad things to happen? If
Because
there's a
we have
creator,
free will?
then he wouldn't have allowed such calamities to happen. But is it really so? First of all, the existence of evil in the universe cannot be proof for the absence of a creator. Why? Let me explain. For example, let's imagine a gallery or an art exhibition. Depending on their interests, the people that are visiting them may or may not like the works of art inside. When someone who doesn't know anything about art sees a famous and valuable painting, they might say, "This painting doesn't make any sense. I only see irregular and chaotic lines here." However, for someone who knows about art, that painting might have excellent qualities and have many meanings behind every detail.
I know what he's trying to say.
May not like the work, but they cannot say this work doesn't have an artist. Just
yeah, you can say this work doesn't have an artist, and I think maybe he's like, he will get actually into it. I could be wrong, but there was something interesting. I actually once talked with someone, and we had a discussion about that. Sometimes evil things that are happening to us are also good at the same time, because there's a good spin you can put to it. Let me guys give you an example. So there's a person that is supposed to travel to Hawaii to have a nice vacation there and be at the beach and relax, right, at Hawaii. But this person wakes up late because the alarm doesn't work, and that person misses the flight. So this is on first view something completely bad, right? Like the money's gone. Oh no, I booked a flight. I did not get to catch the plane. I missed it. But then suddenly the news, it says the plane that was flying to Hawaii crashed or something, right? So now there's suddenly something good in missing the flight. Yeah, the money is gone, true. But the life is saved, for example. Or sometimes when we see evil, this causes some people to actually become better. Or what if someone, for example, has an accident with a car, right? And this person is always driving recklessly. Now the person had a car accident, but the person survived. And the accident led to this person becoming a more careful individual. In the future, maybe this person would have lost his or her life in an accident. But because an accident happened in the past, this person became more careful. And now the future has changed for that individual. So yes, sometimes we see something as evil because we don't understand the wisdom behind it. Or we get upset, and may Allah protect us from having such feelings, and get like maybe angry at our creator, and we shouldn't, because there's some protection or wisdom behind it that just we don't see. There's a good spin you can apply to anything. Or someone has a haram relationship, and now the haram relationship ends, and someone's like heartbroken, like I lost my lover or something. But guess what? If it would not have ended, it would have ended later when you have a child with that person, and now you are a single parent or something. So there's always something good that can come from evil too, like a good side to it, right?
May not like the work, but they cannot say this work doesn't have an artist. Just like that, a person who's looking at the universe may find some calamities ugly, or he might not like the diseases that are happening to him, or he can be unable to understand the reasons behind them. But none of these things can be a proof of the absence of God. Because even saying that there's ugliness indicates a doer. So an atheist cannot claim the absence of God by pointing to the calamities. Then we can confidently say that this is not an issue about the absence of God, and it cannot be used as a proof for it by the atheists. But then, what is the reason why human beings struggle with all these difficulties, disasters, and catastrophes? Let's have a look at this. We can say if something is flawed or not by looking at the purpose for which it was made. If something works well in accordance with its purpose, we can say it's of good quality. It's nice, it works perfectly. But if it doesn't work as intended, we say that it's ugly and flawed. For example, the purpose of a library is to provide a quiet and peaceful environment for people to read or study. Now, could someone who visits a library and doesn't like the silence say things like, "Why is this place so quiet? Why is there no activity here? No one is talking. What a faulty and flawed design." Could he criticize it like that? Of course not, because a library is supposed to be this way. It's an environment that provides silence. It's its purpose. So the fact that the library is quiet indicates that it is a quality and a good library. Or imagine a gym. someone is visiting there for the first time and sees that the people are tired and sweaty, lying on the floor, exhausted, could he say things like,
That's
"Who is
me."
persecuting these people? What a pity, what a cruel and flawed environment." Of course he couldn't, because the purpose of this place is to make people physically improve themselves through struggle.
Yeah.
Just like in these
No pain, no
examples,
gain.
this universe is created to serve a certain purpose. We can only understand whether the events in the universe are good or bad by looking at the purpose of the universe. And only the creator of the universe can tell us this.
Plus, this is a test in this dunya, a trial. Like, imagine there was no hardship or no struggle, then how can this be considered a trial, a test? And sometimes people are also doing bad or are in poverty for us who are not poor to be tested with, right? Will we give charity to them? Will we help those people? Will we become arrogant? Like, how will our behavior will be like to those people, right? So a lot is also with a test, right? And a trial, because we're also here to be tested. And this is something that the Muslim needs to understand. Like, it's very important. Like, this is not Jannah, this is dunya.
Creator of the universe can tell us this. Among the purposes of its creation, recognizing the names of Allah comes first. Our ultimate purpose is to be a good slave of Allah, and in order to achieve this, we have to truly know His names and attributes first. Many other purposes can be counted as to why the universe was created in this way, such as making progress by struggling with trials, showing Allah our commitment by passing the tests of patience,
Yes.
and so on. If you look at the universe in light of these purposes, then it's necessary to have troubles, calamities, and diseases.
Of course.
For example, if there were no diseases, could we know the name of Allah as Shafi, the healer, or the name Ar-Razaq, the provider, if there was no hunger? If there was no tests of gratitude and patience, could spiritual progress be achieved? No. Then the universe and the events which we call calamities within the universe are necessary for humanity's duty to get to know Allah.
They
and to
remind us
increase their
too.
rank through struggle. Therefore, we cannot look at these events as flaws or evil things.
As Towards Eternity, we need your support. We are a charity organization that aims to spread the message of Islam to the entire world in 8 languages. With your support, you can help people convert to Islam, give up haram, start praying, wear hijab, learn to read the Quran, and so on. By donating just $1 a day, you can have your share in all these good deeds, inshallah. Donate to Towards Eternity, and don't let this Ramadan pass without making a difference.
Another point is that something is either beautiful in and of itself, or is beautiful in terms of its results and outcomes.
Yeah.
Even many issues that we think of as evil can bring many beauties.
Do you guys find caterpillars not so beautiful? I mean, the butterfly is definitely an upgrade, I would say, right? I like this example here.
In terms of their results, because everything is known and understood through its opposite. For example, if there was no cold, the concept of heat couldn't be known.
Yeah.
It couldn't be understood.
You need the
Without darkness,
opposite.
light cannot be known. Similarly, the events that we describe as disorder, evil, and ugliness are actually matters that enable us to realize the order, goodness, and beauty in the universe. I mean, think about it. Imagine if there was no ugliness. Could we recognize beauty?
Yeah, we have no
Or
comparison.
could we think of order where there was no disorder. So the existence of opposite concepts is necessary to understand them. A person who is constantly living in order and beauty can no longer understand the value of these things. He cannot even notice them. We can evaluate natural events such as earthquakes in this manner. For example, earthquakes can seem evil from the outside. It's an event that shakes the earth intensely
And costs
is considered
life.
to be a calamity. At face value, they may be perceived as very harmful and bad, but in fact, the earthquakes tell us that there's actually order in the universe. Yes, earthquakes remind people that the earth does not shake on vast majority of the time and make us realize that such an orderly and stable earth is actually a blessing. We may not be aware of this reality, but when we look at the big picture and look at all the positive and seemingly negative things that are happening in the universe, we see that bad things happen very, very rarely compared to good things.
That's true.
Just enough times to make us realize the opposite. So the abnormal events in the universe make people who are used to normal conditions realize that even the things that they think as normal are in fact blessings.
Yeah, and this leads also to individuals becoming more grateful. Same when it comes to like bad people. If you have good people around you, you're going to be more grateful and you're going to treat them way better than if everyone was, for example, good, right? Because then you wouldn't realize, oh, I'm actually grateful. Or if you live in a country where you are in safety, and you, let's say, travel somewhere, and during your travels an earthquake or something happens. When you arrive back to your hometown that is very safe, or maybe less catastrophes, then you realize that you're actually blessed to live in this house. And maybe you didn't like your house so much before, but now suddenly, because you come from such event back, because during your trips this happened or something, then you realize you're actually very, very blessed and fortunate. Same if you see someone with a sickness, right? Someone is not healthy, you look at them and then you look in the mirror and you see yourself as healthy, you're very grateful. And if you are, let's say, sick and you get better, now suddenly you're very grateful that you are healthy again and you appreciate your life more. Like, I was sick a few times, very, very much. One time I was even in hospital with a very, very high fever. It was almost, it was like a near-death experience. I was at 40 plus Celsius and they had to give me some fluids into my arm and stuff. And I thought, oh, this would be my last night maybe. Like, I felt so bad, like really, my family had to drive me to the hospital. I had to get an injection with an infusion. If they didn't give me that, maybe I would have had 41, 42 Celsius fever and my brain could have received some damage or something, right? And when I got better, I actually became more active with sports even and stuff, because I realized, I was that sick, I could have passed away. Now I have to live more healthy and do more sports and stuff. And I actually lost weight. I became more muscular, this and that. Like, it had like a lot of good effects when I was very, very sick one time. Like, I came out better, I would say.
The thing that makes us notice the order is the disorder. The thing that makes us the beauty beautiful.
It's also got me closer to Allah.
So even the matters that are assumed to be in a disorder are in fact beautiful and serve a purpose. Another point is that constant, uninterrupted beauty makes people forget about the hereafter by making them heedless.
Yeah, it's a distraction.
The beauty of this world might intoxicate people. For a person who forgets his duty in life and forgets about the hereafter, troubles are actually a warning and a wake-up call. A reckless, deluded person cannot be aware of why the events around him are happening and can make mistakes in understanding them. At that point, someone should wake him up to reality. Waking him up would be the greatest favor that can be done to him. Just like that, the human being who was sent to this world to know Allah sometimes forgets his duty. Contrary to his mission, he can become immersed in extremely insignificant things.
Yeah.
Some days he falls into sin in such a way that he even forgets what it means to regret.
Oh.
So in reality, it's not evil that Allah wakes him up from his heedless, sinful state with calamities and diseases, but it's pure mercy and beauty. Because when you look at it, whoever experiences a problem starts thinking more about the hereafter compared to other people, and he turns to worship. So even from this point of view, we should see calamities not as evil, but as blessings to be thankful for. As human beings, we try to learn what is beneficial and what is harmful to us throughout our lives, and most of the time, we understand the logic of the events and the wisdom behind them later. For example, the slap of a mother to prevent her child from touching the stove heater is actually a blessing for him.
Yeah.
The child isn't aware of this yet. He can neither recognize the danger of the stove, nor can he immediately understand the reason for the slap. But
it's something to wake you up. This is why I'm saying, like, evil things that can happen to you can wake you up. Same with, let me get back to the story where I had like a high fever and I was in the hospital with the infusion in my arm. So when I actually got better and I was like praying again and I was in the sujood, I actually, this is how I really felt. Like, the prayer had more taste than before I was sick. Why am I saying that? Because I knew I would have met my creator in such state, and I felt like I wasn't the best at this time as well as a Muslim. Like, I wasn't really perfect, and I could have done way better. And this actually reminded me that, hey, there's a hereafter. By Allah's mercy and allowance, you're still on this dunya, Marcel. You're still alive, Marcel. So turn to Allah and do something good now before it's too late. And that made me realize, this time is limited on earth. Like, I could have not returned from that hospital. I could have stayed there and never returned, but return in white sheet and be under the earth, like 6 or 7 feet under, right? Like, I realized, there's a hereafter. And then I was also more careful when it came to prayers. And then, Fajr alarm. Alhamdulillah, I wake up for Fajr. Before I was like, not again. And now Alhamdulillah, right? So this is something, sometimes like some people forget that evil brings you closer to your creator too. Like, look at Palestine, for example. People are having such calamities and a catastrophe there, and they're actually getting closer to Allah than they ever were before. Wow, imagine that. That's also a mercy in disguise.
But when he understands the danger of the burning stove later on, he realizes that the slap was actually a result of compassion, an act of love. So, if you look at it from the point of view of mercy, in a real sense, there's no ugliness and evil. Just like in these examples, there may be some warnings that Allah sends our way. Sometimes we don't understand them. We may think of them as...
Oh, and something I have to add also, because I just mentioned Palestine. So, Palestine is also a trial for us, right? So we see this in the news, and we are being also tested on what will we do. Will we donate? Will we boycott? Will we help Palestine or not? This is also a test, and yeah, may Allah grant victory to Palestine. Amen.
As bad things, but in fact, it's the opposite. It's an act of pure mercy. Sometimes it takes time for us to realize that. Just think about it. Knowing that even the slap of a mother has a wisdom, a logical reason behind it.
Yeah.
How can there be no mercy or purpose in a warning that is sent by Allah?
There is.
Who showers human beings with so many blessings with His infinite love and care.
Yeah.
Yes, the human being is like a soldier on duty who is trying to understand the universe and get to know his creator. Think about the blessings of Allah and the fact that He created so many beauties. As the one who gives the feeling of compassion to all the mothers, would Allah ever intend any harm to you in a real sense? As the one who puts benefit in all things and manages everything with great wisdom, would He ever create disorganized and useless matters? Sometimes we need to change our perspective and evaluate things holistically.
Yeah, from both sides.
Issue is certainly one of them.
Wow, that is a powerful video actually. Let me give this one a thumbs up. I really like this one. And this is something that a lot of people are also not understanding, and this can lead to doubt also in Islam. Like it's really like that. Like there are some Muslims right now on this earth that are walking here, and they are like wondering, if there's Allah, why is there so much evil, right? Like there are a lot of people with doubts like that, and they don't understand that they're like, there's a good spin you can put on anything, right? Like I said earlier, you miss a flight, but that flight is actually crashing, and you're saved, and you didn't know that. You only notice if you check the news. Or you have an accident, and this leads you to be more careful in the future, so a bigger accident doesn't happen, and you're such a careless individual that it would happen definitely if the other accident did not happen or something. Like there are situations where you're like, whoa. Or someone gets very sick, like I was, with a very high fever, and you're in hospital, and you're like wondering, if there's Allah, why did He let me get so sick to hospital? Because it's a reminder, return to Him, because you weren't doing so well before, maybe, right? So everything has something good with it, right? And evil is also a form of test. It can also be to forgive sins, right? Like what if you did something bad in the past and your destiny is Jahannam, but then something bad happens, and this actually is like a weaker sort of punishment than you would have gotten in the hereafter, right? But because you get this already in the dunya, and you actually think about this, or you change your ways because of this sort of punishment, then now suddenly, oh, you will go to Jannah inshallah or something, right? Like there can be a good outcome for you because something evil happened to you, while another person has never any calamities or evil happening to them, and they're actually being very arrogant and very sinful, and then they pass away in such state, and they go to Jahannam. And once you see what you get, you're not gonna complain about a single second on this dunya, like seriously. But yeah, may Allah keep us all steadfast and remove all doubts. Ameen. And yeah, I wish everyone a wonderful day. If you guys are new to this channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more content. If you guys enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give this one a thumbs up. And I will see you guys next time, inshallah.